Hey guys, Alan Hibbert here, doing a little reflection on the 30-day fear challenge that I ended 7 days early. So how did it go? Well, I think it went really well, even including the fact that it ended early. Um, I got a list here of all the fear challenges from every day in my magnificent fear journal. Magnificent, to make great fear. Yeah, so again, the idea was to summon as much fear as possible every day in the direction of my inspiration or something that is inspiring to me. And then, of course, summon the courage to overcome that fear and take action. So that took the form of many different things. Day one, record and publish episode one of my podcast. So, yeah, I did that, started a podcast in the last 30 days. I'm up to 4 episodes now. So I still need to make that a habit, but it felt amazing to get started. So good, so good. And there's already been some nice serendipitous encounters surrounding that. So that's amazing. Number two, announce my podcast and business on social media. Yeah, so share it with the world, the podcast and my coaching business, life coaching. So that was well received, both of them. A lot of good feedback from people, a lot of warm wishes. So that's nice, and feels really good to put myself out there. I feel like the hardest part is already behind me, so that's amazing. Number three, publish 100 pieces of content on social media. Well, I did not reach that in the day that I tried. I only got 50 pieces of content. And so the next day, I finished that 100 with another 50 and did a penalty 100. So I got 150 there. That was a tough day. I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning because I didn't just want to post any content. I wanted it to be meaningful. So a lot of them I made from scratch. It was a really good experience. Just relentlessly posting things. And some people reached out to me like, "What are you doing?" But that was great. That was really great. So I'm happy I did that. It was a great experience, and now I'm no longer afraid of posting things. To be honest, afraid of putting myself out there. So that was a huge fear to overcome, and I feel like I did it. So that was an amazing, amazing experience. Number four, stop playing a certain video game until the fear challenge is over. That game's Forge of Empires, and yeah, I haven't played it the whole time, so I guess I could go back now and play it if I wanted. Yeah, but I mean, it feels good to let go. I mean, it's a really fun game. It's a nice challenge. There are really good people involved that I played with. Um, so I may go back. We'll see. But it was nice to create space in my schedule and in my mind. And yeah, it really allowed a lot of other good things to come in, other sources of inspiration, other meetings and things that I could schedule in place of when I was playing a video game. So that was a great thing. Number five, go for a run in the cold and dark without preparing. That's right. I forgot about that one. Yeah, I think prior to that, I hadn't run in, I don't know, a couple of years maybe. And just spontaneously, I said, I got to go for a run right now. I got to be outside. And yeah, that was not a very inviting atmosphere outside, but it was really good. Right? It's like taking a cold shower. It's like it doesn't sound good if you know you're going to do it, but then you push through, and it's liberating and invigorating, I guess. So that was great with the run, and that led to other physical challenges in the past 30 days, and it's really gonna get me back to doing physical things and using my body in that way. So I'm very happy about that. Number six, write and publish a 50-page mini book on Bitcoin. Yeah, so I finished the first draft, sent that out to a handful of people, 5 or 10 or something like that, who got back to me with feedback, and that was amazing. The feedback from that has been so good, overwhelmingly positive, and I was very fearful because it's such a rough draft and it's so bare bones and there's so much missing. And my vision for the completed book is so much bigger and more powerful and more impactful in my mind. So it was really good to put myself out there, and to my pleasant surprise, the feedback was amazing and a lot of encouragement to keep going with it. So that's really good. Number 7, record a video for Peter Schiff about Bitcoin. Haha, yeah, I did that. So Peter Schiff is a classic Bitcoin hater. He actually got he won the Scammy Award for the, how do they phrase it? I don't know, like the biggest hater of Bitcoin among people who don't own Bitcoin, among no coiners. So, anyways, it's just kind of a goofy award, but I do follow him, and I recorded a video. And the next fear challenge was blast my video on Twitter until Peter Schiff says yes to a debate or a podcast with me. And he didn't say yes, but he did acknowledge it, and he posted a comment on the video, which is incredible. So it's not going to go anywhere in the short term, I don't think. But it was very important for me to overcome my fear of reaching out to my heroes, or celebrities, quote unquote. I don't know if Peter Schiff's really a celebrity, but he has a large following. He's very highly respected. So, there was a fear about reaching out, and I don't have that fear anymore. And maybe in these other challenges, you can see why. But it was a really great experience, and who knows where that'll lead. So number 9, ask 100 people for feedback on my Bitcoin ebook. So just ask 100 people. I actually don't remember if I asked 100 people, or if I did. It certainly wasn't directly, maybe blasting it on social media and so forth. I actually don't remember if I did that. I feel like I didn't, at least not the spirit of it, looking back on it now, 3 weeks later. But as I mentioned, the feedback that I did get from like 5 or 7 people, I think, has been overwhelmingly positive. So that's really good. Number 10, start a 4x4 by 48 with David Goggins. So that's running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, 4x4 by 48. So in the span of 48 hours, run 48 miles. And that goes, 24/7 for, well, actually it's 24/2. so yeah, you don't really get to sleep. You get like maybe 2 hours of sleep in between, 2.5 hours if you're lucky. So that was tough. Really good experience. Since I wasn't in that great of shape, I decided to walk a lot of those miles, the vast majority. But it was really great to push through and, set an alarm for 11 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 3, 7, 11, 3, 7, 11, around the clock. So that was really good. Next day was add mileage to the 4x4 by 48 to equal a double marathon. So moving from a total of 48 miles to 26.2 doubled, so 52.4. So that was only an extra 4.4 miles added across the 2 days, but I'm really glad I did it because I knew I could push myself a little bit harder. And when you're walking a lot of the miles, it's not that big of a deal, but there were some of those little clips. I don't know what to call them, sets, like iterations, like a 4-mile loop or whatever. There were some of those that I decided to run where I would commit to it at the beginning and say, like, all right, I'm running to whatever, the top of this mountain, or I'm walking up the mountain, and when I turn around, I'm running the whole way down, or whatever. So I did a lot of those little things along the way to challenge myself. And that was good. And I was able to stick to those once I set them. So that was really nice. Day 12 was finish the 4x4 by 48. And I did that. Number 13, invite Dr. Stephen Greer to be on my podcast. So Stephen Greer is another hero of mine. He does a lot of work with consciousness and extraterrestrials, which sounds so crazy because a lot of people deny the fact that they exist or think it's impossible. And I think the evidence that they exist is about 1 million times stronger than any of the claims that anyone makes against them. So anyways, I do follow his work, and it's really inspirational in a lot of ways. So I invited him to be on my podcast, and it fell on deaf ears. I mean, he's way too influential for someone who's just starting a podcast. So it was really good to ask, though. And that leads into my next one, day 14, invite 10 of my heroes to be on my podcast. And I did that. It was in the form of tweets or emails, or I think that might have been the only two methods I used. I didn't really hear back from anyone other than Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I sent him a tweet, and he liked it. Right? He just clicked like. He didn't reply. He didn't comment on it. He didn't say yes or no. He just liked it. And classic Taleb, classic non-committal guy, keeping his options open. One of the reasons I respect him. So, anyways, it was just a really good process, and it sort of brought me closer to my heroes and made me realize how easy it is to just connect. It's just so easy. 100 years ago, it would have been impossible. You would have to write letters and travel on horseback and all this crazy stuff. And now you can just go straight after somebody, millionaires, billionaires, the president of the world, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anybody, it's just so much easier to connect than it ever has been in history. So there's really no excuse to live in fear of that. There's nothing bad that can happen, and the upside is just amazing. So that was great. Number 15, edit and publish an episode of my podcast. So the first 3 episodes were completely unedited, just recorded them in a single take and published them because I wanted to get started somewhere. And episode 4, I decided to edit. That took several hours, man. I don't know, 8 or 10 hours or something across several days. It took so long. It took so long because I didn't know how to use the software and all that. But it was a great experience. I think the next one I could edit in probably 2 or 3 hours, and then it would just get shorter from there. So that was really great. I haven't done another episode since that one, but that was really great because I learned a new skill, and there was fear like, what if I can't edit this? What if I try and just simply can't do it? And then I'll realize I'm incompetent at editing stuff, and it didn't happen. It was not as difficult as I thought, and the learning curve was steep, but I got it, so no big deal. And there's so much room for growth, obviously. And that's kind of symbolic of learning other new skills. Like eventually I'm going to edit videos like this. I'm just going to publish as is, but down the road, I will definitely edit videos. And, now I know I can do it. I can learn a new thing. No big deal. Number 16, submit my podcast RSS feed to iTunes, Spotify, Google, and Stitcher. So yeah, I did that. It was awesome. I learned how to do that. They were way easier than I thought they were going to be. And 1 or 2 of them I've done in the past, a couple of years ago when I started a podcast the first time around. And that took a little bit of learning, but was still pretty easy. But this time around, I had never done Stitcher, I don't think, or Google, or Spotify, actually. I think I'd only done the iTunes one in the past. So I did 3 new ones, a total of 4 different platforms, and I don't know how long it took, maybe like an hour or 2 total to do like all of them. So it was just amazing. It wasn't that long, it wasn't that hard, and was completely painless. So now it's out there. So now every time I publish a new podcast episode, it'll just go to all these different platforms, which is just such a beautiful thing. And obviously there are, I don't know however many podcasts are out there, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, the world is so connected, Number 17, publish a blog post on my website. Yeah, I had this weird fear of publishing blog posts. Like they're this like permanent thing and it has to be perfect. And so I published a blog post just to get in the habit of, okay, here we go. No big deal. So I am a perfectionist, and I gotta get over that. I'm working on it, making good progress. Number 18, it's a secret. Yes, between my fiance and me, and yeah, good stuff on that one. 19, complete a 3-mile run, 300 push-ups, 300 sit-ups in a day, every other day, until the 30-day challenge is up. I did that. 3-mile run, okay, not that hard. 300 push-ups, I guess it's not that hard for me anyways. 300 sit-ups, I guess not that hard. But trying to do them all, and it takes like a commitment, I guess, to your body, and I had to sacrifice a lot of things. Like I'd be working on the computer, writing something, reading something, watching something, whatever. And then my alarm would go off, every 15 minutes or 20 or 30 or 60 minutes, whatever I had it set for. And it's like, all right, get up, do a set of push-ups, do a set of sit-ups. Okay, sit back down. And, it's somewhere between 10 and 20 sets of each exercise every day, plus the running. And it's a lot. And a lot of days I did not feel like doing it. Actually, most days, yeah. I think I ended up doing it probably 5 times. So it was every other day. So I think I did it 5 times with 4 days off in between. So a total of 9 days, if I remember correctly. And that was really good. So that got me in the habit of just thinking about my body, focusing on my body. And that's definitely something I want to do more going forwards. Number 20, ask people for feedback on the Bitcoin book. So I've mentioned it a couple times now. A lot of days went by, like a week or 2 weeks maybe, from the time that I published the book and sent it out to 10 people or so to the time I actually heard back from them. So it was a long time, and no one reached out willingly with feedback. So I had to send gentle reminders and say like, "Hey, did you get a chance to look at the book?" Or, can you make time for it? It would really help me out, that kind of thing. And people were very receptive. And then, within another couple of days, they got back to me, and that was all the great feedback that I mentioned. So it was good. And, there was fear going into that because I thought, maybe people read it. Maybe people read my book and they thought this is garbage, but I just can't tell Alan. So I thought went through my head, like, maybe it's not very good and they don't have the heart to tell me. And so if I reach out and insist that they tell me, I'm really setting myself up to be heartbroken and crushed and demoralized. So there was a lot of fear to actually reach out and ask for that feedback in a more deliberate way. But I'm really glad I did. Really, really, really glad. Number 21, select a totem for the character I wish to activate. So yeah, we all have characters in ourselves, many, 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 many. And we play different characters all the time. And there is one particular character in myself I would like to activate. And so I've selected I've selected a totem for that character. And I ordered it online, and it came in last night. Well, it came in yesterday, and I opened it last night. And I will begin wearing it tomorrow. So, and for my next challenge, my next 30-day challenge. So I'm very excited about that, and I will reveal what that totem is at some point in the future. Number 22, post my chart of gold and Bitcoin, silver and Litecoin. Oh, so funny. Oh, so it's just posting a chart online. So silly, but I had this insight. I had this idea that perhaps Bitcoin's price moves in the same way as gold, like the way it goes up and down, and like the shape of the curve and so forth. Is it a straight line, or is it jagged, or is it curved, and so on. And I had a guess that it moved in a certain way, that Bitcoin and gold move the same way, and also that Litecoin and silver move the same way. So I went online and got a bunch of data. It's pretty easy to find the bulk of the data, but then, if you go back in time far enough, if you go early enough in an asset's lifetime, it can be really hard to find price data. And sometimes it's hard to find daily data. You find monthly, but you can't find daily, or you find weekly, but you can't find yearly, or whatever it is. So it did take a little bit of digging, and I put a lot of work into it, and I did the analysis and then the presentation. I made a chart and I polished it up really nice, and I think it came out beautifully, and it totally was consistent with my hunch. So I felt like I really discovered something, and I didn't want to just like publish it like in a tweet, like by itself, and just say, hey, look, I wanted it to be like delivered with some oomph and really like hit other people the way it hit me. Like, whoa, this is a really important discovery. It's a really important thing to understand how the two move together, because it's really validation by the free market that those two assets, gold and Bitcoin, for example, are the same type of asset in the eyes of the collective, like everyone on average. So every asset has lovers and haters. But the combined total of everyone's opinion, all the lovers and haters, and the combined strength of those opinions, if they're betting long or short on a particular asset, if they own it or if they don't own it, or if they're betting against it, the combined opinion of everybody is accompanied or encapsulated in the price at any given time. And that's true over time. So the way an asset's price moves over time up and down is the sum total of everyone's opinion multiplied by the strength of their opinion, always and forever. And so it just so happens that the market and everyone's opinion is such that Bitcoin and gold are very, very similar. And I sort of proved that with my chart, and I didn't want to just dump it out there, but I did. I just tweeted it out. So I guess it, as much as I would like to sort of like get credit for it or get recognition for my efforts and my hunch, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if someone sees my chart, makes their own version, puts their own name on it, and doesn't credit me at all. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to change the truth behind the realization, and it's not going to change how I view gold or Bitcoin. So, I was sort of letting my ego get in the way, or letting fear of bruising my own ego get in the way of really elevating myself. So I'm happy that I pushed through, and it's so silly that it took the form of posting a chart on Twitter. But hey, it's symbolic of much bigger things, and I'm happy about where that will allow me to go in the future. And that leads me to number 23, the last day of the challenge. Let go of the fear challenge. Let go. No need to finish it. No need to bring force or resistance or suffering into the exercise. And it felt like I had accomplished what I wanted and needed to accomplish. And so it was time to stop. And yeah, so here we are reflecting on everything. I think it was great. And I'm excited to begin a new challenge tomorrow. And I will share that in another video. And yeah, in the meantime, I will keep elevating, keep coming from a place of abundance, and not a place of fear, not a place of scarcity. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did, and it is the beginning of many great things, and I will see you in the next challenge.